to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and you're about to listen to a hypnosis session that was created for a business owner that had recently left their job and became self-employed. And they'd already found a couple of clients quite quickly, so they had been rewarded for going off on their own. But what they were doing is they were doing that thing that a lot of early entrepreneurs do, and that is that they were giving all of their time and all of their attention to their early clients. And that's good because you want to reward those early clients. But it can be a trap because if you drop everything to cater for a client that should represent 10% of your time, but you give them 50% of your time, then it actually impedes the ability to grow the business and suddenly makes you more beholden to that client. Also, the client is paying for this and getting this, and therefore they're expecting that's what they get for that amount of spend. So you're mismanaging the client expectations. And what this client found is that they could dedicate time for their clients and not to growing their business. So there is time management techniques included in there. But the key essence to this session is the contrast, and it involves future pacing, where they see two different future versions of themselves. They see a version of themselves that they are working for their business. They're trapped in that business. And the other future where the business is working for them. And there are so many people that they're in a business and the business might be in debt, or they have to work 60 hours a week just to cover payroll for staff, and they're not even making that much profit. Business, and I've been an entrepreneur pretty much my whole life. I've only ever had 2 jobs where other people paid me. It can be a trap. And you've got to be very careful in the world of business that you don't end up being a slave to your business. You want to make sure that the business is a tool that you use to meet your values and give you the kind of life and experiences and impact that you want. So if you are a business owner and you resonate with this, or you're an employee and you want to be self-employed, but you want to go about it in the right way, you might get some value from this session. Just be aware it was created for an individual. So if you do like the idea of working with me directly, rather than listening to the recordings that I did for other people, click the first link in the show notes or visit my website, adamcox.co.uk, and there you can book a consultation call. And because you're listening to the podcast rather than finding me on Google or anywhere else, you get a discount if you use the coupon code podcast. So check that out. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be distracted or disturbed. Relax and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in that feeling of pure, resourceful relaxation. And as you exhale, give yourself permission to release any tension, any stress, any worries, any trepidation. Just allow any limitations to feel that they're melting away and leaving your body in that outward breath. And the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you can feel. And the more relaxed you can feel, the deeper you breathe with each breath taking you deeper and deeper to a place deep within where wonderful changes can happen naturally. For these next few moments, this time inside belongs entirely to you. And perhaps that's already an important distinction, because time can belong to you, and your attention can belong to you, and your energy is yours. And the more clearly you decide where those valuable resources are directed, the more powerfully your business can grow. But for now, simply notice your breathing, not trying to change it, just becoming aware of the natural rhythm of each breath, of breathing in and breathing out. And perhaps each outward breath can release some of the mental noise that can accumulate when you're building something new. The unfinished tasks, the open tabs, messages and ideas, decisions, and all of those things can remain outside for a while, and they will still be available later. And you may discover that when you return to them, you see them differently, more clearly, more strategically, more like the owner of a business, and less like someone being pulled in every direction by it. And as you continue to breathe comfortably, I wonder if you can imagine that your mind is gradually clearing, as though unnecessary windows and tabs and open loops are quietly closing. That's it, one by one, until only the most important window remains open. The one directly in front of you, the one that matters now. And it can feel good to remember that you do not have to do everything simultaneously. You simply need to know what deserves your attention now. Because clarity creates calm, and calm creates focus, and focus to action creates momentum. And you've already proven something, because you took a leap before everything was guaranteed. You placed a vote of confidence in yourself. You moved without requiring complete reassurance. And because you moved, opportunities seemed to appear. Clients appeared, income appeared, evidence that boosted your confidence appeared, as well as the evidence that you can create value independently, and that people will pay for what you know, and that you can build something of your own. And you couldn't have known for sure that that would have happened even just a few months ago. And yet now you are living evidence that when you believed in yourself, the world rewarded you for it. I want you to get a sense that this achievement wasn't luck, and it isn't something you can just minimize or treat like a temporary accident. You created this beginning. You made these decisions. You took risks. You spoke to people, articulated and then demonstrated value. And then you followed through. And I wonder where in your body you feel pride, a sense of accomplishment. For some people it's in the head, for others the heart. But allow yourself to feel proud of what you've done so far. Because it's easier to amplify something that is already moving in the right direction. Some people believe that pride comes before a fall. That's not pride. That's boastfulness. True pride can only come from creating something valuable and meaningful. Success is not a signal to become still. It's evidence that movement works. And I want you to think of what you've done so far as the first of many stepping stones. And just because you desire to get to the next stepping stone doesn't mean you can't appreciate the one that you're on. And I want you to get a sense that you can be proud of your accomplishment and still be wary of what can keep you on that stepping stone, rather than allowing you to spring onto the next one. There is more available. That next stepping stone allows you to have more impact and more freedom and more choice and more creativity. And because you create value, it will mean more income, but also more responsibility and the ability to build a business that supports your life rather than gradually consuming it. Be aware of that distinction. Some people end up working for their business, and the lucky few have a business that works for them. And I want you to think of what having a business that works for you means and would be like. Perhaps you can imagine standing at the entrance to a modern building, and this building represents your business. And for now, maybe you see it as relatively small, yet new, fresh, and full of possibility. And you walk through the entrance and notice that in this building, there are two busy areas inside. In the first area, there's a busy workstation, and messages arrive constantly. Requests flash onto screens, and tasks appear without warning. And the person sitting there tries to answer everything immediately. Every client request feels urgent, and every notification interrupts the task already in progress. Time is recorded in tiny fragments. 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there. An hour that somehow disappears into scattered, diffused, diluted responses. And that workstation may look productive, but it's reactive. It's the illusion of productivity. It's busyness, but not necessarily productivity. This is what happens when a business owner accidentally becomes an employee inside their own company. The business exists, but the client control the calendar, and the messages control the attention, and the urgent controls the important. And even though lots of work gets completed, very little space remains to build what comes next. This person gets stuck at one of those stepping stones, even though so much more was possible. And now turn and notice another part of the building. A quiet, composed, serene control room with clear screens and a spacious desk. A calendar displaying protected blocks of time. Projects arranged according to importance. Client work has a place, and business development has a place. Time is ring-fenced for creative thinking. And even rest has a place. And there is space between things. Nothing is chaotic. Nothing needs to compete for attention. And I want you to see, sitting in that room at that spacious desk, is not the employee but the business owner, the strategist, the decision maker. And they're not avoiding work, but they are directing work. They understand that being responsive is not the same as being permanently interruptible. They know that a message can be acknowledged without immediately abandoning whatever else was the focus up to that point. And they know that clients can be cared for without allowing every request to become an emergency. I want you to see the version of you with strong boundaries. Boundaries that protect the quality of work that you can do for your clients. Because when your attention is focused, you already know that the work improves. And when expectations are clear, relationships improve. And when you respect the value of your own time, clients very quickly learn to respect it too. And I want you to walk towards that version of yourself now. Not the employee trapped in a business, but the business owner running and building a business. And I want you to notice how they sit, and how they breathe, and how calmly they make decisions. The work gets done, but there is a serene, strategic, decisive energy. And this version of you doesn't need to prove that they're working by being constantly available. Being accessible is not the same as being productive. And I want you to see the version of you that begins each day by prioritizing the 2 or 3 actions that will have the biggest impact. Not a never-ending list of things to do, and not ill-defined blocks of time like client work or admin work, but work that has a finish line that can be completed. And I want you to see that version of you being very discerning about those priorities. That version of you focuses on the small number of things that have the biggest impact, and everything else becomes secondary. Useful perhaps, but not allowed to steal energy from the essential. I want you to imagine what those 2 or 3 things could be for tomorrow. And then imagine writing or typing them in such a way that you would write them if they were already completed. The phrase itself isn't something that you do. You write it as if it's something you've already done. Finished this, completed that. And each period of time has a purpose. In one particular place. And it always ends with something tangible, where progress is verifiable. You simply have moved forward. And because the outcome is clear, your mind knows exactly where to place its attention. And so you begin and you focus and you complete. And when you complete, you then move to the next important outcome. And any interruptions that arrive, you either wait until you've done to even check them, or you acknowledge them, but you don't do the thing in the moment. You decide the sequence. You decide what happens now. A message, an email is just information. It's not a command, just a request for attention. That's it. Focus before fragmentation. Completion before interruption. Direction before reaction. And as you hold on to those thoughts, I want you to imagine what your business could look like 5 years from now. Is the business running you? Are you a slave to the business? Or is the business working for you? It gives you more freedom, more choices, improves your lifestyle, enables you to work on the things that give you the most joy, passion, and fulfillment. And when you think of that future, treat it like the coordinates on a map, a place for your subconscious to go, so that when you make choices and decisions, it is steering you towards a business that works for you. I want you to imagine leaving that building. Before you leave, see again the contrast in facial expressions between the business owner, where the business works for them, and the face of someone that's become an employee in their own business. That contrast, allow it to resonate deep within, because it enables you to answer the question, what kind of business owner are you? Without needing to find an answer. And then allow yourself to float back to the present. As you take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Start to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes so you connect and calibrate into the here and the now. as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of The Hypnotist. If you've enjoyed this episode or got some value from it, please give it a 5-star rating and review. And maybe you know someone that would also benefit from this particular episode, in which case share the episode with them so they can also get the benefit too. And if you would like to listen to this episode where it's just the hypnosis, so no intro, no outro, no explanation, just the hypnosis and completely ad-free, there will be a link in the description where you can subscribe at a very low cost and only get access to the hypnosis. So if that's of interest, please check that out. Thank you again for being a regular listener of The Hypnotist, and I'll see you again soon for more.